course, in the meantime, we've got 3 totally new books, new contracts that are starting all at the same time. So that's exciting. 2 of them are out for audition as we speak. That's Dr. Karen Graham, and she's a highly qualified Australian psychiatrist. I think she's got something like 25, 30 years of experience. And she's written these 2 companion books about emotional stress and mental stress. So obviously, they're meant to be read consecutively. So one's accept what you feel, the other one's mind what you think. And the whole purpose of it, I could sort of feel the mission that she had when she was explaining it to us, is just to provide some tools for people, everyday people who don't have time or wouldn't think of going to a psychiatrist, which isn't all that easy to do these days with the heavy bookings.
No, not at all. Or even I'm just thinking, washing up and you're playing it in the background because you don't have time to sit down and read the actual physical book.
That's a really good point, actually, because with Natasha's book, The Balance Theory, that's kind of a book that's about guidelines as well. This is what to do in this situation. Dr. Karen Graham's books are also the same, like try these exercises. So we've worked out a lot of really wonderful techniques in an audio way to be able to get people to enjoy the experience of listening to the book, giving them the opportunity to pause and play. So, okay, it says, think about, I think in Natasha's book we called it, here are 8 questions for your soul work at the end of each chapter. And we go through each of the questions. If somebody wanted to, they could stop it and they could actually do the exercises, which are rhetorical, there's no right or wrong answers. But I did a few of them. They're great, so like really
you are glowing.
I am glowing. I'm there. I'm evolved this month. And or you can just be listening to it and think, you know what, I'm going to come back to that. This has meaning for me. Otherwise, there's still the full benefit. And we provide the right type of pauses and gravitas for those sections so that people, it does, even from an audio perspective, you're doing the dishes or changing nappies or cooking or driving or whatever, it still gives you
a little signifier, allow it to digest a little bit.
It gives you a sense of significance that this is happening.
Beautiful. And the other book?
Oh, yes. So we've got our 2 psychiatrist books, but we're also dealing with this amazing book by Will Roach. And he's written a book called Black, Gay and Underage, which is nothing like what it sounds like. I actually did a quick Google of Black, Gay and Underage. You have no idea the kind of things that came up. Will is a person who grew up in London to amazing parents. And this is actually a tribute to his parents who are Caribbean and who, came to London at a time when their qualifications weren't recognised. I think his dad worked as a cleaner, even though he's highly qualified in many other areas. But the fortitude and the respect that he showed for that culture and for his own culture and the values that he instilled in Will. And Will, grew up, and the story is about his relationship with his parents, but also about his journey as a gay man, discovering he's gay in London as a man of colour, and also in a Caribbean cultural environment. And that's just done with such tenderness and humour and a sense of meaning, for all those areas that he covers. So very proud to be working with Will.
What narrator is Will wanting? Like, is he giving it any vibes?
Will is one of the few people that I full-heartedly agree is going to narrate his own book. And if you've ever heard Will's voice, you would understand why. It's like those deep baritone, and he himself is a poet performer,
Will could read out the bus timetable, and I would.
And people,
I think we would
people
all...
just want to keep on listening, you know, because it's just lyrical, beautiful voice. Now, a lot of people think they can narrate their own work, and and I would never recommend it. However, in this case, definitely, it certainly doesn't make it cheaper, only because unless an author can self-edit and has got their own equipment, those are very big elements. So we've scheduled Will to be in the sound booth at Powerhouse Museum, and he is going to have Marty, our audio engineer, full time, the whole time he's narrating, editing, mastering, engineering, directing, the whole time that he's in the booth.
Great.
So even though you could know your text inside out, I can assure you, you will do 2 or 3 takes every time if you're doing it by yourself. So we're giving all the back-end assistance that we usually give to any narrator. We are asking him to go through each of his chapters, reliving them and giving him self-directions, so that both Marty and he will be reading the script and the directions and be able to cross-check. And it means that it's less time for Will. If you've never narrated a book, you don't know how arduous it is, and really how you have to kind of like align your thinking, your reading, your performative capacity, and also the meaning of the book, like the tempo of the book. All those things have to kind of happen all at the same time. So it's not an easy task.
To keep that consistency, to leave the place and then come back a week later and slot back in where you were, forgetting all the external things that have happened in between, and keep that.
Oh, didn't I tell you? We're going to trap Will for 2 days. Actually, 3 days. 3 days we're going to trap him, and for about 3 or 4 hours, and we're going to make sure that it happens in a very short period of time, because it does allow for that.
I want to be there for that last hour. It'll be a good party.
But Will is a real trooper. I've worked with Will before, and we've also been in the same writers group, so I know his work.
He's very talented.
I'm so thrilled that he's that he's wanting to translate this. And the book has been published by Sydney School of Arts, wonderful publishers who are in Millers Point. Christine Williams is just an extraordinary editor, an ex-ABC journalist, and she does some beautiful books. So it's going to be lovely to produce this book for Will.
When are they going to kick off?
Next week. So all these books are happening all at the same time, and we're sort of, I was going to use the word shuffle. We're shuffling the ones that are completed and making sure they're beautifully tidied up.
So where did you find the time to go to Dr. Terence's party?
Terence McMullen. Yes, that was. I would never have missed out on that. Look, I often say your book is your legacy. You know, those of us who write. I'm dealing with another author at the moment. It's sort of like, oh, I've already published it, and I've spent this amount of money, and I've already done this with it, and put an ebook, and really, do I want to do this as well? But honestly, it's like the icing on the cake. It's fantastic, and it is a legacy that is so much more accessible than the other formats. So Terence, as you know, we did all 3 versions for him, and he had this amazing party. He's not well, so it was sort of like in a health system environment. The staff had to accommodate a much larger group of people than they thought they were going to get. So I think there was a sort of like, it just kept growing and growing. All these people who just want to congratulate Terence, who'd been ex-students, who were now lecturers themselves, so who had heard about the material that Terence had been writing, which is a kind of a beautiful mixture between science and sentience. So it's psychology of plants. Amazing work, way ahead of its time.
Because previously though, before Terence decided to make this audiobook, his physical book had sort of just sat away in a drawer for...
It was like a thesis. It was sort of like in single print,
Yeah.
a single page print, and there was a CD-ROM
Yeah.
that had to be translated, and we all worked together to make it a manuscript. I know you did.
Yeah.
You did a lot in terms of translating and ensuring that the audio and the book, the print book, were in total alignment.
Oh, it's so good that everyone got to come and enjoy that then.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
And there was a woman who was a librarian there who came up and said, I loved the paperback version. She said it was beautiful, it was neat. These are all the things that are so outside of my ken. Like, I cannot draw a straight line. She said, no, it was so beautiful, it was so neat, and it was like beautifully presented, great quality paper. And it was a good testimony, again, to our distributor, but also our layout person, that he just did an excellent job.
Yeah.
So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, good.
There was booze, there was food.
Well, it's a
They
party.
had to throw us out. Yes.
Any more parties? I don't think we've got any more parties happening.
No. Well, there's always an opportunity to relaunch, a book. This is the kind of thing that happens. Like, if you've already got a book in 2 platforms, the print book and the ebook, then getting the audiobook done is a really good opportunity to relaunch all those platforms all at the same time. And we definitely, as soon as we start production, we start, kind of promoting the other books, the same book on the other platforms as well.
Yeah.
But no more parties for the foreseeable future.
No more parties. Going to get down to these 3 books that we're starting one next week. And,
2 next week.
2 next week. So,
3 next week.
Sorry.
Yeah.
So excited. Get into it. So we've got narrator call out then. For 2 of the books.
Yeah. Well, so male and female sounding narrators, and details are on our website. So nice talking to you again, Loretta, and I hope that gives information to you guys out there. We're always excited with every project that we get.